Joining me now is one congressman combating big tech, Congressman Lance Gooden. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So what do these 5 bills entail, and what is your specific effort with these bills?
Sure. Put simply, these bills combat big tech. They prevent expansive monopolies, mergers by companies with a market cap of over $600 billion. And what these bills basically mean is that the big tech companies, Apple, Amazon, Google, they will be targeted with these bills in the sense that the American people are tired of them buying up their competitors. Mark Zuckerberg even said before a hearing a few years ago, it's cheaper to just buy up our competitor than to actually compete with them. And so what these big tech companies do is they control thought. We've seen them police the president. Donald Trump is not able to even take part in Facebook because big tech has said so. And so we're tired of liberals in California policing our speech. We're tired of a lack of competition. My constituents are tired of speaking a word and then reading an ad about whatever it is they spoke an hour later when they're scrolling through Facebook or doing a Google search. And so these bills seek to address that. They are bipartisan. There are Republicans, a little bit of dissension in the ranks among Republicans because some are very leery to get on board with bills that Democrats are also supporting. Do I wish that these bills went further to combat the free speech issues? Yes, I do. But I think it's important that we've come together, that Democrats and Republicans are getting on board with a plan to say that big tech needs to be reined in and that monopolies that do such a disservice to the American people are not okay.
Exactly, and you said there's a little bit of a debacle amongst Republicans. So what is the general synopsis for these Republicans to get on board and say, we need to combat big tech for this reason? Can you give us a little insight on that?
Sure. I'm actually encouraged because just today the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, came out and said something does need to be done. He didn't agree necessarily with these most recent bills that have come out, but I think the fact that we're hearing action and important words from Mr. McCarthy today is a testament to the momentum that we have gained. And also I can see from the lobbyists that are running around this town right now panicking because of the momentum getting behind this bid to rein in big tech. It gives me encouragement. But these are huge companies. They spend millions, if not billions, on lobbying and on advertising, and they are not going to go away quietly. They are not used to losing in the halls of Congress. And the American people, I think, ultimately do have a much bigger voice than these special interests.
They control thought on social media. Would that be the biggest concern and threat to our democracy, or is there something else that comes into play with this?
I think controlling thought is something huge. You know, when you look back at big monopolies of the past, Standard Oil, the railroads, when the U.S. government broke those up 100 years ago, that was a totally different scenario. Things are much worse today because they weren't controlling thought, they weren't controlling speech. If Donald Trump can't even speak to the American people because Twitter and Facebook say he can't, then is that a company that espouses American values? I don't think so. And so my goal is for these bills to continue to get support from Republicans. The Democrats have actually come to the table. I don't agree with everything that they've said. We'll probably have to compromise on this. But I think this is something that Democrats and Republicans can agree on, that they don't want Google and Facebook and Amazon and Apple controlling their everyday lives.
Do you believe that there are enough Democrats that believe in free speech, that believe in free markets, in order to pass this through the House?
I've often questioned Democrats' commitment to free markets, but as respects big tech, I think the Democrats actually are on board. I think they'll probably want to gear things a bit more toward their side. They've got a very liberal FTC chairman that's just been confirmed that I have some reservations about. I do worry about the Biden administration having too much power, and so I want to make sure we prevent that. But I think Republicans need to step up to the plate as well, and they need to say that we're not going to tolerate the suppression of free speech. We do not encourage monopolies where companies are buying up competitors and eliminating competitive marketplaces. And so I would encourage your viewers to reach out to their conservative leaders as well and say we've got to do something before it's too late.
Exactly. Congressman Lance Gooden, thank you for joining me on One American News.
Thanks for having me.